welcome my guest for this evening, Hina Bobina.
It's
Ah!
it's me. It's Hina Bobina. Would you
It
believe
is
it?
indeed you. Thank goodness.
Would
If it wasn't you, I'd be in deep shit right now.
If it wasn't you, then it'd be very confusing. You'd have to reschedule the whole thing. You'd have to redo the whole intro, and
Oh
everyone
yeah,
would
I'd
be
have to
confused.
the intro, all these lovely links at the bottom of the screen and in the Twitch panels. And if you're watching live on YouTube, hi YouTube. The
You
links
should
will
do
be
that. That would be a good bit though. Like say you're gonna do a stream with someone and then just have it like set up everything like that, and like they'll ping like their community and be like, I'm gonna be here, and then it's just
April
a
1st
different
is coming
person.
up.
Oh, that's a good bit.
That'd be
I
real good.
wanna give someone else my stream key, because you can give somebody a temporary stream key. I wanna give someone a temporary stream key for my stream for April Fools.
I'm not sure if I'm quite that bold, but I would be willing to do like the fake out guest thing. But you know, if it was someone I trusted, maybe I would do the fake stream key. That there's a small number of people I might do that for.
Yeah,
No,
I mean, I could be complete Joker pilled. I could be like, yeah, I'll raffle it off to a member of my fucking community, and they'll get the stream. But
Oh,
that
I'm not
sounds like
that
a
bold.
really good way to get me banned. Although it would be a pretty legendary bit, I'm not gonna lie.
It would be pretty good. If that's how you go, that's a pretty good story, a pretty good way to go for sure.
Yeah.
But we sort of jumped right in. I'm guessing that the vast majority of folks who are in chat right now are familiar with you, but for those who might not be, if you could introduce yourself.
I'm Hina Bobina. I'm a variety streamer. I'm a VTuber. I'm known for having terrible opinions and being generally smart, but having like extremely massive gaps in knowledge that don't make any sense. Also, like I don't know, like I think that negative space is the craziest thing ever. I didn't know that you had to give 30 days notice before you vacate your apartment, or else you have to pay the full month's rent.
Ooh.
I didn't know that you have to pay utilities separately from your rent, so I wasn't doing that for a while. But we figured it out in the end, and I learned and I grew, and that's okay.
Yeah, this was the Hina, you know, renter / house tenant growth arc or something like that. And because those are all very specific instances of knowledge.
Yes.
And for those who might not know or who might be watching after the fact, you just moved. And, you know, as moving is, it can be stressful. It can be hectic. And especially if it's not something that you are used to. And frankly, this shit varies from, you know, apartment to apartment or house to house, depending on where you live and different stuff. That, yeah, there's a lot of variables, and you realize, oh, do I need to pay for this? Oh, I need to call how many different companies to get all the different things set up? It's a lot. So I hope things have been going all right on your end as far as that goes. I know it's been a bit of a journey. It always is.
Yeah, it should be. Hopefully things will end up being a little bit cheaper here than at the last place. I mean, even if it's not, this place is so much nicer. I don't mind paying more, but there was just like a lot of stuff, like I guess the heating or something was really inefficient at the last place that we were at, so it ended up costing
that's the stuff that you never think of, and that you don't really even have the ability to know until you're there and paying the bills. That you can still do a perfectly normal tour of an apartment or a house and have no clue that, oh, the heating bill's weird because, you know, I don't know, the windows or something just exude a whole bunch of heat.
Yeah. That, and the biggest one was the neighbors, for sure. Our downstairs neighbors would just like blast music, it wasn't so bad. They would blast extremely loud music, but only for like 20 minutes a day, like at random intervals. So like that was more weird than like a constant annoyance type thing. The thing that really got to me was that there would be like times, I'm not like exactly sure what the context was, but there would be times when the downstairs neighbor would get really, really mad, and he would just start screaming and yelling at somebody, and there would be really loud arguments, and it's just bad vibes, you know. As a streamer and a content creator, you kind of need to be in an environment that's positive for your mental health, because you are your product and you are your brand, and your mental health is literally everything when it comes to streaming, because people don't want to watch sad people.
Yeah,
right?
you don't want to tune in and see somebody not having fun. That, you know, rage streamers are a thing, and that if you can do rage
streamers
funny,
are a
works.
thing.
But
rage streamers are a thing, but the thing is that if
they're
someone
having
wants
fun
to
in their
watch,
own way.
They're having fun in their own way, and if someone wants to watch a rage streamer, they're probably going to watch someone else. If someone wants to, I mean, I guess that, like, with lolcow type stuff, like if we're getting into Dark Side Phil, like Wings of Redemption, the other famous lolcow type territory where, you know, people are always looking for the newest thing. They're always like, ooh, look at this new person for us to harass, right? But a lot of the time people are just gonna watch them, right? And that's something that I've been thinking a lot about in terms of content creation, where this is just like a thought I've been having recently, like seeing it on Twitter. Like I will see, I'm not gonna name any specific names or anything, but I'll see a tweet and I'll see many different people tweeting, and they will tweet things that are basically just like doing the same thing as like what a popular tweeter would do, or like what a big hit tweet would be like, right? And like recreating that, maybe putting some kind of twist on it. And yeah, I've been thinking about it.
And the meme of the week, the meta of the week.
But they never do that well. The ones that I see never do that well. Like sometimes they'll pop off, and I guess that's just part of the nature of these things. But it got me thinking that a lot of people, like particularly in the realm of content creators, like I think a good example is like you know, Moist Critical Charlie.
Yeah.
A good example is like what he does, where it's literally just his bit that it's like super low effort content, and like he literally just like stretches his thumbnails and never works on custom thumbnails, never, you know.
He has made a brand and is slowly spinning out an empire based on just very low key, low energy, but at the same time that's him, and that it's very genuine, that it doesn't feel like he's forcing anything, and it works. And that's a lot of what content creation boils down to, in my opinion. You know, I'm not a crazy successful content creator, so I only speak from sort of my own experience, but also just I see a lot of people, and it's a lot easier when folks can tell that you are having fun and just doing what comes, even if not naturally, that comes in a way that is positive for you.
Yeah.
Just, you know, not forcing yourself to do things that are going to make you unhappy.
Yeah, that's the thing too. But it's also like, you can't do that these days. You can't do what Moist Critical does. If you try and copy, if you verbatim copy or do the same thing or similar enough things to Moist Critical, you're probably not going to be successful, because to be done. It's been done, and it was a lot less competitive back when he started, because it was he's one of the like YouTube OGs. It was back before people had access to good internet, back before, like, you know, upload speeds that were good enough to actually upload content to the internet consistently, back before people had access to good microphones, good cameras, capture devices,
before the algorithm was what it is now.
Before the algorithm was what it is now, and so you can't just try to, you could, and that's another thing too, where it's like, you could do exactly like every single thing that you see a successful content creator doing on the surface, right? You could like copy, you know, what Niji Sanji does, what HoloLive does in the realm of VTubers, right? You could do everything that you think that they're doing, and you won't be successful, because there's so many things that go on behind the surface. And it's also like, why would somebody want to watch someone who is just trying to imitate HoloLive or Niji Sanji when they could just watch HoloLive or Niji Sanji? Yeah, right. I feel like it's something that a lot of VTubers fall into like a pit with, right? Where it's like, oh, well, people, Niji-Sanji and Hololive are popular, so that means that I need to do what it is that they do. But they don't realize that their biggest strength as a content creator, as an independent content creator, is the fact that they are independent, and the fact that they don't have to, you know, go through all the hoops that all of the, you know, Niji-Sanji and Hololive talent do. Because it's not to say, obviously, talent for Niji-Sanji and Hololive are extremely talented, wonderful. All the work that goes on behind the scenes is you know, super high production value.
You don't get to that point. You don't get to those heights without having done something right on your own.
Exactly. You don't get to those points, but it's also like I feel like a lot of people are also like naive about it, where they're like, oh, well, this person did it, so that means that I can do it too, and they don't realize all of the work that goes on behind.
Yes, you can do it too, but do you know just how much you are looking to do?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I don't know. It's a difficult thing, and because, like, if I could be perfectly honest, I wish that everybody could be successful as a content creator. I wish that all of the people who I see who really, really, really just are putting themselves out there and putting their heart into everything that they do, and, you know, just trying to make it out in the environment. I wish that everybody could be successful, but the harsh reality of it is that it's not possible. It's not possible for everybody to be successful, you know? Which isn't to say that, like, they're not, it's not that they're bad people, it's that everybody's good at different things, you know?
Yeah, there's only so much time in the day for people to consume content, and they're probably first going to go towards the ones that they're familiar with, and then when they're exploring, what are they going to look for? They're going to probably go towards ones that have usually higher numbers. Not always, but it's the type of thing that says success can beget success, and that seeing, oh, this person has a lot of viewers, therefore that probably means they're pretty entertaining, and that yes, you can absolutely go from nothing and see extreme success. That it happens every single day here on Twitch. You know, doesn't matter if it's in the music scene, if it's in the comedy scene, in entertainment, wherever. That can absolutely happen. That the scene is exponentially more competitive than it was. You are so very right at that. At the same time, it doesn't mean it's impossible, but yes, it is harder. It is much harder.
Yeah, it's difficult because, like, and even in VTubing, I would say that VTubing is a lot less competitive than something like face streamers. If you look at 90% of Twitch streamers, 90% of Twitch streamers are streaming to 0 to 1 people. And so if you're even breaking past the point of, like, having 5, 10 people showing up to your stream, you are already in, like, the top.
You're already an outlier.
Yeah, you're already an outlier. And you know what? That's something that I have seen. I've been in the VTubing community for a long time. Like, obviously not since it began, but, like, I would say that the first big boom in the VTubing community was around, like, October 2020. I think is that when VShoujo started? I'm not
so
I think
VShoujo was it was right after Thanksgiving 2020. It was Hololive English, which debuted in early September 2020.
Yes.
That's usually what I point to as sort of one of the big catalysts of just.
And then in October, a lot of people got their stimulus checks, so they were like, "Hey, I can do this."
Mm-hmm. And then, I have heard. I've had a non-zero number of people on this very show who have said that they made their initial investment effectively in their VTubing model or other tech. Of, like, you know, I got a stimulus check and said, "All right, this is what I'm putting it towards," and you're very right that is a non-zero factor in it.
Yeah, there was that first initial boom, and that's when I got in. And obviously a lot of things have changed and happened, and something that I see that really upsets me is it's kind of like two things in one. There are a lot of VTubers who would, like, take people's viewership for granted, because there were a lot of VTubers who started out and they would be getting, like, 10, 20, 30 even viewers.
Oh yeah, if you were in the early boom and you were having a debut, you could get 100 to 200 viewers easy with basically nothing, because there weren't a lot around. And if someone had a new model, it was new on the scene, just there were so few people around that really was a big thing. And yes, big events like debuts, re-debuts, etc. will still pull in higher than what you would otherwise get on average, but it used to be almost a community-wide event when somebody new debuted because there weren't that many, and then you sort of had the deluge of, all right, there's so many, we can't keep up.
There's still a lot of like relics of that, where it's like, I've known people where they were like they were pretty like active on Twitter during the early days of VTuber Twitter in like 2020, 2020, late 2020, early 2021, and they were having their debuts, and it was kind of like culture shock whiplash, because it was like going back in time, seeing them debut in like 2020, and it was like seeing all their Twitter friends showing up. And like, but the thing that I wanted to say is that people would be starting out with like 5, 10, 20 viewers, which is again better than 90% of the people on Twitch, and they're so ungrateful for it. If there's one thing that I can't stand, it's people who take their viewers and people caring about them and their content for granted, because nobody has to care about you. Like, and in the VTubing community, everyone wants to be so positive and happy and loving all the time. And they're like, oh, all content is valid and you should be able to do whatever that you want and all this stuff. And that's true. You should be able to make whatever content that you want. You should be able to make whatever content that you want, but you cannot be entitled to people's time. You can't be entitled to people's time, and you can't be entitled to people's viewership. And most of all, you can't be entitled to people's money. And I have seen so many VTubers who they just either are completely dissatisfied, or they even stop streaming altogether because they feel like they're not getting what they want. They're not getting the attention that they want. They're not getting the viewership that they want. They're not getting the money that they want.
Yeah, and it can be a rough place. That there's certainly something to be said of, all right, if somebody is trying to make this a full-time thing and they realize, all right, I'm not making the revenue I need to do this, so I need to pull back because, well, I need to get a job. I need to pay the bills. That's fine. And frankly, that's healthy. That if you realize that this is not going to pay your bills, make sure you're taking care of yourself. Pay your bills. That's very important. And make sure there's food on the table. But when it comes to I agree that it's not a healthy thing when folks are, like you said, entitled, or that if they have a negative attitude about it, that you're very right that, like you said, you are not entitled to people's time, and that it's sort of a learning process, I think, for a lot of people, because especially with streaming, that this is something that we are still in the first wave of in terms of streaming as a whole. Twitch has only existed for a bit over a decade. This isn't something that most folks could grow up having idols or having inspirations for. That it's something that folks had to discover in this past decade, and that there's so much unwritten stuff about processes, best practices, everything from just tech setups, which fortunately are starting to become a bit more documented, and you have a lot of different YouTube videos, but in terms of just how to manage time and how to manage oneself, that there are resources, but they are relatively few and far between. That this isn't like normal types of business. This isn't like becoming a restaurant franchisee where there's literal manuals for this type of stuff, and that you have the disconnect of what people see as a viewer and then experience in the reality of actually being a streamer. And sometimes that disconnect, or that lack of satisfaction, can come from from that disconnect, rather.
Yeah, that's the thing too, where it's like, there's this really great video that hold on, let me look up what the name.
While she's looking that up, I realize I missed a good chunk of follows, so thank you so much to Zaxter, Coach McGurk, Meteor Burst, Radic Pillow, Blue 2A, R Sanchez Levin, and Soglight. Thank you so much for the follows. Welcome on in, folks.
There's this YouTuber named Big Joel, and he made this really great video about small YouTube culture. And while it's not exactly a one-to-one to like Twitch culture, I think that it's a really interesting video because it talks about being an online content creator, and it focuses on this person who has been he's been trying to make content for years, and no matter what he does, he never sees any success. So he goes to like the he goes to the YouTubers Reddit, right? The r/YouTubers for people who are YouTubers themselves. It's either small YouTuber, R YouTubers, or whatever. And he would go and ask for advice, and no matter what happened, like no matter what advice people would give him, he would always just say, that's not gonna work. I've already tried doing that. I already tried doing this. Clearly it's just the algorithm. He would never accept responsibility for his own things. And that's the difficult part, where it's like there would be people who would you know, not want to interact with him anymore, because they'd be like, okay, well, you're not taking any of the advice that we're giving you, so we're not going to try and help you anymore. But the thing is that it is hard. It is hard to be a content creator, and a lot of the times it feels like there's not really anything that you can do. And like, particularly when you're first starting out, it's so difficult and weird and strange, and you put so much of yourself into the content that you make, particularly if you're a streamer, because being a streamer is basically just presenting you, right?
Yeah. And that even for VTubers, that so much of you is going to come through one way or another.
Well, I feel like for VTubers, it's even more, in a certain way, it's even more of yourself than something like a traditional face streamer, because a traditional face streamer, people can see like a flesh person there, but as a VTuber, because you have this sort of facade, this mask that you put on, it almost allows you to have a opportunity to be more genuine in a lot of ways than if you were presenting your full self, I think. But people put themselves into their content. They put themselves into their content, and they feel like if it's not getting the reaction that they want, or the reaction that they see that other people are getting, they take it personally. They take it personally, and they think, oh, my streams aren't doing well. It's because I'm not a good person. My streams aren't doing well. It's because people don't care about me. And when you start getting into real dangerous territory is when people start vocalizing those feelings to their community, which is the worst thing you can possibly do. Everybody feels bad sometimes. This is a fact of life. No one is happy all the time. It's obvious. But you shouldn't be... Number one, have an offline account. Have an account where you can send all of those awful feelings off into the void so that you can feel okay, okay? Number two, you shouldn't be, like, manipulating your community into supporting you because they feel bad for you. People should want to watch your stream and your content because they like it and it makes them happy, and they like being around you, and they like who you are as a person. It shouldn't be because, oh, well, they're sad. They're sad. They feel like nobody cares about them, so I'm going to go to their stream to show that I care about them. That's not healthy, and that's you know, that's the biggest thing. I talk about this all the time. VTubing has given a very big platform to mentally unwell women on the internet, and in a lot of ways that's a really great thing. Look at me, look at Mari_yen, look at Hen of Mimi, look at Mint Castella. We're all out here living our best lives, being crazy fucking insane people. But then also there's a lot of bad stuff that happens. There's a lot of bad things. There's two types of crazy. There's like slash your tires crazy, and then there's like, you know, slash your tires for the bit crazy, and then like drown your kids in the bathtub crazy.
Yeah, there are varying levels, a sliding scale of crazy, and a sliding scale of just different types of people that would not necessarily be able to get traction in traditional media from traditional talent agencies that, like you said, are being able to have these types of opportunities in streaming, in VTubing, and that's awesome, because there are people who are looking for the type of entertainment that they can't get from mainstream stuff, and that's part of why offbeat streamers are able to sometimes get incredible traction, because they're offering something different, something new. And yes, even if it's not, like I said, traditional entertainment or traditional idol personality, that that can be really great. But at the same time, there is a balance to things. There is a difference between, like you said, doing it for the bit and someone who actually might just be trying to go out and slash tires.
Yeah, for sure, right? Because, like, man, it's just difficult. I think that my philosophy with content creation and streaming, and that always has been this way, is that I'm just looking to have fun. I'm gonna do things that are fun for me. I'm gonna stream games that are fun for me to stream. I'm gonna hang out with people that I have fun with. And I've definitely encountered people who really didn't gel with that, and it makes me, I don't know, like, there's this one person that I used to be friends with, and they would, after we were on stream together, I would have had a great time, and then they would just say something. They'd be like, you were too chaotic, you were too this, you were too that, you need to, you shouldn't say things like this, you shouldn't say things like that. What if people think something about you? What if people take this thing that you say and then they get really upset about it? Well, I don't fucking care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. And it's not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you live your life in the service of having fun and doing things that make you feel fulfilled, then I don't see how that could be wrong.
Yeah, my big thing has always been have fun, do no harm. And that just one thing that I decided pretty early on as well, which I think lends me a level of mental freedom, and it's not a choice that everybody can or should make with their content creation, and that is that I have not monetized my channel. I have deliberately not accepted affiliate and do not have plans to do so. Part of that comes from the very specific type of content that I do, and that is and frankly, I do a lot of things in terms of content creation that are entirely counterintuitive. Do not do what I do. Doing only collabs, that's a stupid idea. Streaming only about once a week, that's a stupid idea. Having no consistency to your one stream a week, that's a stupid idea. The lack of monetization partially came from knowing that I only do collabs by nature, that this is a talk show. I had, for the first year that I did Vtuber Talk, a donation link set up, and that half of the donation would always go to the guest that was on when the donation was made. And after a year, I shut that down and just said, you know, I got a small handful, and that was nice, but at this point, one, I just don't even want to think about it. But also, it became an easier thing come tax time to not have to worry about it anyways, frankly. And I say that's not necessarily for everyone, because it is a totally legitimate thing to try and want to make streaming, to try and make content creation your career, to make it your livelihood. There is nothing wrong with that. If that's something you want to do and you have the time and effort, go for it. And yes, if you're going to do that, you damn well need to monetize your channel. I'm fortunate in that I have a day job that I very much enjoy, and that I approached content creation as something I just wanted to do in my free time for fun, and that I don't need the money. That it's never even been a factor for me. So I have the benefit of being able to just uncouple myself mentally from all of that. So that's one thing that I say to folks of just, if you aren't looking to make this a livelihood, because there's plenty of people who just, like I said, like me, try to do content creation for fun. And if you experience growth, that's great. But that's one thing that I've told folks who tell me, hey, I'm just doing this for fun. Say, well, just take the money off the table. It's one less thing to think about.
Yeah, that's true. But it is also difficult because in the sphere of VTubing in particular, there is a very high financial barrier to entry.
You are not wrong.
So it kind of feels like if you want to be able to do certain things that you see other streamers doing, you have to have that sort of financial thing. And just like full disclosure, I would say that I reinvest a majority, probably at least 60%, if not more, of the money that I make from streaming, back into VTubing and everything. So,
and again, that comes from me. I'm not a VTuber, so I don't have that extra added cost as well. So again, this is very much me, Jay from Vtuber Talk, in my very specific scenario that like I said, that is not the solution for everybody, for sure.
Yeah. And it's not that people, I mean, obviously there are people who feel like they need to do it, like a keeping up with the Joneses type situation where it's like, oh well, you know, like a lot of people see Iron Mouse debuting a new outfit, you know, every super often, you know, however often it is that she does that. And they're like, well, I have to do that because big successful VTubers are getting new outfits all the time. And my thought about it is that the reason why Iron Mouse is getting new outfits all the time isn't because she thinks that it'll lead to growth. It's because it's fun and it makes her happy and it's cute. And
yeah,
if I could have a new outfit every week, I would do it. And like that, and again, that's why I reinvest so much of the money that I make from streaming back into streaming, because it's not because I feel like it's what I have to do, or I feel like, oh, well, people aren't going to be interested in my stream if I don't keep changing things up or whatever. It's because it's what I want to do. I get new outfits because they make me happy and I like to have them. I get new stream assets because they make me happy and I like to have them. And I know that everybody else is going to like them if I like them. And that's the most important thing that I think a lot of people don't understand. They're so concerned about the way that they think that others are going to perceive them that they don't actually focus on doing things for themselves, right? They feel like they themselves and what they want and what makes them happy and their boundaries aren't good enough, so they have to sacrifice that in order to be successful as a content creator. But the truth is that you don't. Like, if you have a community, and your community, you will be surrounded by people who like you, and they like it when you're being authentic to yourself.
That just look at really not just the VTuber community, but the content creation community as a whole. Look at the folks who are successful. It is the folks, like you said, the ones who are having fun, that have found a community, and sometimes it's not fast. You have to keep in mind how long Iron Mouse was doing this before VShojo was a thing, how long Zentreya was doing this, and even if the folks from Hololive, you know, only came into being those personas with Hololive, you can be damn sure that nobody in Hololive is having their first rodeo with content creation of some sort. Some of them might be having their first rodeo as a streamer, but none of them are new at content.
100%, 100%. You know, think of the top streamers, right? When I think of, like, you know, streamers who are an inspiration or people who I've been watching as content creators, they've all been making content for 10 plus years. Vinesauce Vinny has been making content for 10 plus years. Vinesauce Joel has been making content for 10 plus years. Nyanners has been making content for 10 plus years. I know Bao has been making content for, I don't know, probably about 10 years. She was like, Uta, it seemed, you know, type thing. Everybody who you see that is very successful didn't just get that way overnight. And even then, like, one of my friends, Lord Aethelstan, he did have a pretty big rise to, like, mainstream popularity in the VTubing community, like, even for the VTubing community, right? Because the growth in VTubing is insane compared to, like, every other medium of streaming.
Oh yeah,
it is insane.
Even for how saturated, quote unquote, the VTubing market is, this is still one of the fastest growing segments of entertainment.
Yes.
Doesn't
Metrics
matter if it's
are only
streaming or
going
otherwise.
up.
It's really good. It is not too late. If you want to be a VTuber, yes, it is more competitive than it was a year or 2 years ago. It is not too late.
Yes, it is not too late. But even though he had even though Aethel had a pretty fast rise to success, the reason why is because he was talented and funny and had, like, lived a life that had given him the skills and life experience and you know, personality and personability to be a successful streamer, right? Like, obviously there are people who make content for 10 plus years and they're great and they're wonderful and they're, you know, they make good content, but just for whatever reason they never get their break. But I think that, like, the reason why you should be making content is for intrinsic value, right? You shouldn't be making content because you want to get something extrinsic out of it. You shouldn't be making content because you want attention. You shouldn't be making content because you want money. You shouldn't be making content to fill some kind of emotional void that you feel within yourself. You should be making it for, you know, its own sake. You should be making it to fulfill yourself in a way that isn't, you know, I need attention because I'm lonely and mentally unwell. It should be, oh, this is fun. I like playing video games with the bros and hanging out, or whatever it is that you do for your content.
Yeah. Or if it's just, you know, I like to make art and I want to be able to, you know, whether it be I want to show off my art in a way that I've seen people who started as artists and were like, well, might as well, you know, ask somebody to rig the art that I've already made anyways, and then I can, you know, be streaming and show off the art that I've already made while making more art. For me, it was the emotional void, quote unquote, that I was trying to fill was boredom, plain and simple. And I've said it many, many times before, of just in late 2020 and 2021, I, like a lot of people, had a bit too much time on their hands because we couldn't go outside and couldn't be particularly social. And while I'm fortunate enough to have had a very healthy online social life of, you know, I hang out with friends on Discord and play games online and all that jazz, I still had a bit extra time. It's like, I don't want to be a VTuber and I don't have the time to invest to a full streaming schedule, but what could be a thing that I could do once a week and put out at a solid quality bar, and that I think that I might be at least moderately talented at? And surprise, surprise, my extrovert brain went, you know, a talk show might work. And here we are.
Yeah, for sure. It's tiring. It's tiring.
It's a lot, and there's the ups and the downs.
Yeah, for sure. The ups and the downs, and I think that it's important for people to touch grass and to realize that there are more important things in your life than such and such said this and that about so and so. Isn't that so fucked up? Can you believe this, guys? Can you believe that this person did this bad thing 10 years ago? Oh my god, you should. Here's my call out post for why this person is problematic. And the reason
deliberately don't tweet a lot.
Yeah, 90% of the reason, 90% of the bullshit that happens online, 90% of the toxic bullshit that happens online is because someone was bored. Someone was bored and they're like, I can just fuck with this person. And then it just spirals out of control. And it sucks, but...
And it's like, you know, sometimes bad things do happen. Sometimes people do shitty things. And sometimes
of course,
posts are good. And that can be fine. But
yeah,
you're right. There's also just a lot of fluff. That the things that get me aren't really... Like, if there's a call-out post because someone did something legitimately wrong, yeah, call them the hell out. The things that get me is when somebody has a bad take about not paying artists.
Yeah.
99.999% of people aren't going to agree with them, and we go over this, I feel, every month or two.
Yeah.
Yes, artists should be paid. We are all on the same page here. It is not a controversy because one person is dumb about thinking they shouldn't pay artists.
Yeah. It's very exhausting. It's exhausting to see, particularly in the VTubing community, to see the same shit come up over and over and over and over again. Like, how many times has there been a discourse about, oh geez, I feel the meta for VTubing now is that you have to be a sexy streamer, and if you're not doing sexual and innuendo NSFW oriented streams and have a sexy model, you can't be successful. I don't care. I see stuff on Twitter and I don't want to be mean, but I want to quote retweet it and just say, I don't care.
The number of tweets I haven't sent, let me tell you.
Oh, I know. Like, I don't want to have a reputation as someone who is, like, mean or not nice or whatever, so...
No, but I think it speaks to you and a frankly smart mentality that it is very natural to look at those things and say, I want to say these things. And the difference in maturity is saying, I'm not going to.
Yeah,
that's the smart thing. That's the difference.
Have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
As sort of a tangential point of all of this, you had a panel at Offkai Expo last year about being your own manager.
I sure did.
A lot of a fair few folks who are independent VTubers are their own managers.
Yes.
Not necessarily everyone thinks of themselves as such, but if you don't have somebody doing stuff for you, you are your own manager. But
Yeah.
I'm curious for you and for this panel and for things that you may have learned or found different since last off, Kai, what did you focus on for this panel?
I didn't really have a structure. So I'm gonna tell you the truth. It's all laid bare. The reason why I wanted to do a panel at Off-Kai was because Power Nelson was doing a panel at Off-Kai, and I thought, oh, if that son of a bitch can do a panel, I can do a panel. So then I didn't really have anything planned. I just planned on rambling for like 45 minutes, which I did. What? I can't let Power Nelson get one over on me. Are you fucking kidding me? That guy's a misogynist. It's his brand.
It kind of is. Like, if you've ever seen Power Nelson, it's his gimmick.
His gimmick is that he's a misogynist, and then he fucking puts out applications to be his girlfriend.
The thing, it's like I've never actually thought of him in those terms, but as soon as you said it, I was like, oh wait, you're right.
Yeah, that's
we love you,
bit.
Nelson.
The bit is that he's an asshole. He's a superhero, but he's a dickhead. Yeah,
he's Captain Hammer. God, as soon as that came out of my mouth, I realized how old of a reference that is. Oh God.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Dr. Horrible sing-along blog.
Oh yeah.
God, I can't believe I just referenced Dr. Horrible sing-along blog in 2023. Oh, moving on. Debian 324, Loafbread, Dark Rebellion 34, Ragna, and Reverend Mooch. Thank you for the follows.
I got the reference. I'm glad to hear it. So yeah, I mostly just talked about my views on VTubing, where it's like, oh yeah, you should do things that make you happy, and you should have intrinsic motivating factors for why you do streaming. But like, I feel jaded. Like, have you ever seen that image of like SpongeBob where it's like the fucking guy working at the grocery store, and there's
just the very grizzled look of just over it.
That's kind of the way that I feel in a lot of ways.
It's such an interesting thing because VTubing, it feels like it's been a decade. It feels like it's been around forever, but you have to look at the timeline and say, oh shit, in terms of it being big in the West, like we said, that we sort of point to late 2020 as that really big turning point. We're only in 2023. We're still in the Wild West, Hina.
Yes, for sure.
It doesn't feel like it. It feels like there's been so much growth, and there has been.
VTubing the amount of still tech... nowhere near mainstream.
Oh, yeah. And the amount of tech innovation that we have seen in 3 years is staggering. And just the stuff that we have now, we couldn't imagine in 2020. And we can't imagine right now what we're going to have in 2025, 2026. That's one of the things that honestly has me so excited about VTubing, because there is still so much more that we haven't thought of yet, because we're still just getting started.
For sure. For sure. Yeah, I mean, there are certain things where it's like, when I first started VTubing, I was very like, I want to try and be friends with everybody, and I want to be a say-so streamer, and I don't want to cuss. Real quick. Yeah, it really did. To be honest with you, it really fucking did. It was not great. And like, now I kind of just want to focus on finding people. Like, there is a dynamic. It changes a lot, because like, when I first started VTubing, at least, it was kind of like, I would just go on Twitter and be like, oh hey, look at this person, they're interesting, and then I would like try talking to them and then see how that went. But nowadays, 99% of the thing that makes me want to talk to another content creator is their content. Like, watching their stream, or seeing a clip, or seeing like an actual clip of their stream or whatever. Like, I don't even look at people's Twitters anymore, really. Like, the biggest thing that'll do is I'll be like, oh hey, new VTuber popped up, and I will go to their Twitter page, I will immediately go to their Twitch and look at their clips, sort by top, watch a couple of them, and then that determines whether or not I'm interested in reaching out to them or watching their streams,
Yeah, no, that's literally how VTuber Talk happens. That I don't just reach out to people because, oh, they have big number on Twitch or Twitter, or, oh, they have good model. That, yes, having a neat model or something might catch my eye for a brief second, but one thing I very much pride myself on is I go out of my way to get to know prospective guests before inviting them, that I will tune into no less than like 3 streams of somebody before deciding to invite or not. That someone could be having an off day, frankly, for the first time I tune in. I don't want, if it's not awful, I might float back a second time, and I don't really have a science about it or a very established method, but it's the type of thing that just a couple times a month I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go scouting for a couple days and just sort of hop around. Who haven't I seen before, or maybe whose name have I seen floating around but haven't seen one of their streams? And just the really big thing that I look for, because I've had a couple people reach out to me and say, how do you pick your guests? And I just say, I look around and I look for people who I think I can talk with for 2 to 3 hours. That one of the biggest things for me is, do they talk with their chat? Because if they can talk with their chat, they can probably talk with another person.
I don't understand.
Sitting around and quiet,
I don't understand.
That might be an issue.
I don't understand streamers who don't want to talk with their chat. It's the weirdest thing in the world to me. That's why they're there. They're there for you to talk to them. They're there for you to. I'm not entertaining them. They're entertaining me. That's what the fucking long con is about being a VTuber and a streamer. I'm not entertaining you. You're entertaining me. And you all fell for it. You fucking fools. We wish you
Hina,
wouldn't. Fuck
you're not
you.
supposed to say that
Fuck
part out
you.
loud.
Fuck you. Fuck you, buddy. I don't yell. I raise my voice, but I don't yell.
Dang it, now they're all gonna know. Oh, man.
Now they're all gonna know. You fell for it. What did I yell? What did I say to you, Yuko? I don't even remember what happened this morning, Yuko. You can't expect me to remember something about 2 days ago. She yells at Agpin the most. No, I yell at Revival the most. That's the one that I yell the most at.
Oh, yes. And Carrie Cherry does actually bring up a very, I don't know if it's a cool thing or just a unique thing, but you have the alternate URL of clown.sexy.
I sure do. I do.
Where did that one come from?
My initial VTuber concept that I wanted to do back in 2020 was going to be a sexy clown, and in the Discord that I was in at the time, everybody said that it was a shitty idea, so I didn't do it.
I'm mildly disappointed, but at the same time, I can completely understand.
I'm extremely disappointed, to the point where I'm in early character design concepts for a new outfit, and all I will say is that I got a bad case of Clussy fever.
Oh no. I mean, at least we already have the emotes, which are being very nicely used in chat. Thank you very much, folks.
Of course.
But yes, I did notice that one.
I could have sparked the Clussy Renaissance, I know. I wanted to be a rat or a possum or a clown, and they shot all those down. And then I was like, I don't know, alien? And they're like, okay. But that's what I get for doing what other people said. Now I don't get to have big honking clownies. Yeah, now I'm plant-based. I'm an impossible burger, baby.
I've always been sad that they didn't call it an Impossible Burger. I feel like it was right there.
That's true, but that's also like a 90s branding type thing.
Is it really that old?
I would say that sort of naming convention is very 90s or maybe early 2000s-esque.
That's fair. Sorry, I thought you were saying the Impossible Burger brand was from the 90s. And I was like, I don't think they're that old.
No, like 1990s. Something that would be in the freaking Incredibles. Bogo's Binted. Yeah, I'm the grass type VTuber. I mean, to be fair, there aren't a lot of plant-based VTubers.
I guess there aren't that many. There's a lot of nature or nature goddess type VTubers, but not actual plants.
Yeah, like fauna. Fauna is plant-like.
Yeah.
Aesthetic,
but not an actual plant herself.
No. Sounds very old. You know, I definitely made a lot of mistakes in my VTubing career. Everyone has, you do something for long enough. Yeah, that's the learning process. You fuck up and then you do something different. But the one thing that I struck gold with right out the damn gate was the name. Hinabobina is... I don't like to toot my own horn, but I think it's one of the better VTubing names. It's fun to say, it's intriguing, it's exciting, it's silly.
It sort
great.
of evokes, the name game, the Hina, Bobina, Banana.
Yeah.
That was the first thing that I thought of, because Hina alone is not a terribly uncommon name for a VTuber or for just
Hinabo brand risk. They're never calling me back, baby.
But yes, it is a very fun name.
HBB is like, hey, BB. Yeah.
Did that one take a lot of time to think of, or was it just sort
Not
of
really.
epiphany
I think
moment?
I was just getting off of watching like American Horror Story Season 2. I was really into it. And I was like, ooh, the name game. That's fun. I literally Googled like Japanese names, and Hina means like greens, like plant and greens. So I was like, oh, that's good. I'm a plant. And then I did it with the name game, and now I'm the smartest person who ever lived.
Okay, I do feel a bit justified in that I did call that it was the name game.
Yeah, it's true.
That's fantastic. Of just sometimes you have that moment of, hey, let's do this thing, and that it winds up working well. That when I was looking for my name, that I had, I was kind of surprised that VTuber Talk wasn't already taken, because I was like, this is really low-hanging fruit here. This is just the simplest thing, that it's a VTuber Talk show.
Yeah.
And I just did a quick search on Twitch and on Twitter. I was like, are these handles taken? Nope. I registered them that day, even though I was, at that point, 90% sure I was going to do this. But I was like, this is just too good, and if I'm early on this and I'm going to do it, I just want to like have this locked in. I can shut down the accounts if 2 weeks from now I decide, oh wait, I'm not going to do this. But I was very fortunate in being able to land a pretty simple name.
Yeah, for sure. Simple is good, but I mean, that's another thing in the VTubing community, where simple is good, but also you need to stand out.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to try and find something that can strike the balance between those two things,
And that's just branding in general, that it doesn't matter if it's VTubing or if it's toothpaste.
Yeah. I hate branding. I hate corporations. I hate corporate stuff. I hate the fact that I have to think about those things. I hate the fact that I have to think about branding and associated bullshit, because it's not fun. And I only want to have fun. If I could just make it so that everything that was fun was what you had to do to be successful, I would do it. But unfortunately, there are things that you have to do that are not so fun in order to be successful in life.
But again, it's the recognition of those things and saying, all right, even if it's not such a fun thing, I recognize this is a reality and that you are going to account for it. And frankly, there's a lot of people that either don't recognize that they exist in the first place or don't take the time and effort to account for them. And that makes a really big difference.
Yeah, for sure. Like editing, or being able to afford to hire someone to edit for you, or making thumbnails and, planning collabs and getting people together and branding stuff and design work and getting assets, and it's a lot of work, but I mean, it's worth it.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. The reason that so many people do this and that more are doing it every day is because even though it is a pain, that getting OBS stood up, getting the assets, whether it be making them yourself or commissioning someone to do so, and then getting them all in, making sure that it's working and hoping that the next OBS update doesn't break everything, that it's a lot of work, but it's worth it in the end. That's why people keep hitting the go live button, why people keep going, and that a lot of growth sometimes is just hacking away at it. That I mentioned earlier of Iron Mouse and, like you were saying, Yanners, and a lot of other folks have just been doing this for years and years and years, and that they didn't get their level of success overnight. They just had, even if not consistency, that they had continuity, I suppose, that they just kept going.
Yeah, definitely. Just like doing things, just continuing to do it because you like doing it, not because of any other reason, you know?
Mm-hmm. Also, Carrie Cherry, Lieutenant Imperial, and Akumer for Numi. Yay! Thank you for the follows. That's quite a name right there. One thing that you've mentioned in the past is obviously on top of the, do things because it's fun, but also recognition of reality is part of game selection, of just playing games that you enjoy, but at the same time, you are cognizant of metrics to a certain extent, and that you have what I consider healthy mindset of you enjoy many games. And if you notice, all right, one of the games that you enjoy just isn't doing very well, that you might wean off of it a bit, at least in terms of what you're going to play on stream, and that you will lean towards the ones that you enjoy and happen to do well. One game that I've noticed you playing a bit more recently, which is a game that I don't think I've seen any other VTubers play, is Bloons, the tower defense game. So I'm curious, one, where have you always enjoyed tower defense games, or is this a newer discovery with Bloons? And without getting perhaps too much into the nitty-gritty, has it actually performed?
Yeah, it's done well. It's done pretty consistently. It's good to have a game that you can kind of just throw on and not have to worry too much about, like, oh geez, what point am I at the story? What am I gonna do? How do I, am I gonna be able to do this sort of thing? Just like having something to fall back on is really nice.
Yeah, I suppose it is sort of just chatting plus.
Yes, basically, yeah. It is basically a stand-in for just chatting content on my stream. And there are a fair few VTubers who play Bloons these days. So I wouldn't say that it's something that's unique to me. I'm not really a really big tower defense person though. No, I wouldn't. I would say that it's a pretty new thing for me. Like, I've played a couple of tower defense games. Like, I used to play Dungeon Defenders and Orcs Must Die and that sort of thing, but it was never something that I would like say defined my game tastes.
It wasn't necessarily something that you actively sought out.
No, not really, no.
Yeah, I played a fair few tower defense games back in the day, just, flash games of different sorts. It's never really been a go-to genre for me, perhaps, but it's that very simple and viscerally satisfying type of game of just being able to, put in the towers and see the enemies go boom or splat or whatever you have. And it's that, incremental improvement and, all right, you failed the waves, let's just try again. Let's try this different arrangement of things. And that it's not the most complex out there, but it's fun and casual enough and very satisfying.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Sorry, I'm yawning so much. I just woke up because I wake up at 5 p.m. But yeah, going back to like games that I like to play that I don't think make very good stream games, there's a lot of them. And I would say that Yakuza is definitely one of those games because it's so text heavy and so much reading, and it's just, I feel like I'm not doing what I want to do on my stream because for me, streaming, I like to interact with chat. There are streamers who don't interact with their chats as much, and like they're putting on more of a show, or they're like, watching a game or a video or whatever together, and that's totally fine, but that's not what I want to do. I want to have a stream where I get to interact with my chat and I get to talk to people and I get to, ask questions and pose hypotheticals and interact with people and have a rapport and a banter between the chat and myself. And you can't do that when you're playing a 60-hour heavily story-driven, dialogue-heavy video
playing game. Yeah,
no,
it just doesn't really lend itself, and it's kind of sad because I do enjoy watching those games to an extent, but I can also understand that it's something that is not really conventional streamer fare, and it's not something that everyone is really going to enjoy because there was still a good number of people in those streams, but that it wasn't what you normally end up seeing.
Yeah, I mean, Final Fantasy X, I think, has better pacing than the Yakuza games in terms of being able to interact with chat. Because Yakuza, it would just be like, oh, okay, we're at the start of a new chapter, let's watch 30 minutes of cutscenes and then read a bunch of dialogue, and then this side quest is also a bunch of dialogue. Whereas with Final Fantasy X, there was a lot of downtime where I could talk to chat, like leveling up, doing the sphere grid, doing mini games.
Most of the time, the random battles, if it's not a boss battle, you can just sort of autopilot on. That becomes an automatic break in the action, somewhat ironically, I suppose, to allow you to have that interaction with chat.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, sadly, outside of any, you know, mental breaks of mine, Yakuza Fridays are dead, rip bozo. Because it's not fun for me. It's not, those are not, that's like, again, people wanting to do streams where it's just like them watching a movie of Yakuza with their chat and not being able to interact as much, and that's what they enjoy and that's what they want to do. That's fine, but that's not what I want to do. I want to play.
Yeah. And that's not to say that you're not going to enjoy Yakuza on your own time.
Yeah, exactly.
Are there any games that you have been surprised at how well they lent themselves to streaming?
Souls-likes, I guess, is kind of surprising. Like, it makes sense, because, like, before becoming a VTuber, I never really wanted to watch streams. I never watched streams. I never watched streamers. I didn't watch, you know, VTubers outside of YouTube clips. I thought live streams were boring as fuck. But the only time I would ever watch live streams or VODs or whatever was when people were playing Souls-like games or Bloodborne or whatever, that sort of game, because I guess that's just the sort of content that I wanted to see. So it makes sense that that's also the sort of content that I want to make. And because for a lot of people, it's like when you're a new player to like Souls-like games, there's like a really big barrier to entry, because you kind of have to get it, right? You have to be put through the grinder and be able to develop the skills that are required to be good at it, because it's very different from a lot of modern games, particularly if you're coming from like I don't know,
platformers or action games, things of that nature.
Yeah, like traditional action games, like, not because Devil May Cry is difficult also, but I guess it's difficult in different ways. But yeah, it's definitely a learning curve. So for a lot of streamers, when they stream those games, it's like, okay, I'm gonna get to this boss, and then it's gonna be me grinding my head up against it for the whole stream, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't like to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty good at games, so I don't really end up having to do that. So it feels like the pace is really good for me, and I feel like I can have a good balance between playing the game and being able to interact with chat, you know?
Yeah, and that for me, so I know very little about Souls-like games. That, in fact, most of the education I've gotten from Souls-like games has been from my guests, because you're right, it has ended up being a very successful type of game for folks to stream, and that for people who enjoy it, it just becomes a very natural genre for them. And for me, as somebody who doesn't really know like the lore of Dark Souls, or who doesn't know the difference between a strength or a dex build, you know, I can understand conceptually the difference in such builds, but I don't know the names of any items. That for me, it's about watching the iterative process of just, you know, somebody learning the ropes of a boss and of figuring out, all right, this is what we do, and whether there's someone who is a bit more animated or just totally zen when they're fighting those bosses, that it ends up having that suspense of, all right, is this going to be the run? I think that might be sort of the crux of it, of, you know, any run can be the run, and that you're always hoping and waiting to see, and it's always a big exciting moment in chat when somebody's able to actually beat the boss, whether it be the first try, and then it's super hype because holy crap, first try, and if it's their 50th try, it's, oh my gosh, we finally got over the hump.
Yeah, for sure. It's a good stream game. I don't know what to say.
Before VTubers, I didn't watch many streams. That one of the few types of streams I did watch is actually Magic the Gathering. and not constructed, but draft. That draft and sealed is how I play Magic the Gathering, and I know you're a Magic fan as well. And so it is kind of funny that being the one type that I really watch, and now I basically don't watch it at all because effectively no VTubers play Magic the Gathering. And
it's because Magic the Gathering fans hate anime. They hate
You're
it.
not wrong,
they
but
hate
it's
it.
also
They
surprising
hate
to
it.
me.
And they're deranged and they're stupid and they don't understand anything and they're like I've had so many fucking men mansplain to me and they're like Magic the Gathering has cute. I'm like, I don't care about Magic the Gathering art because it's not cute. And they're like, there's cute cards in Magic the Gathering. Look, this card has a cat on it. And it's like, that's not cute. It's a cat.
It's a cat.
It's a cat. Cats are cute, but just because there's a fucking cat on this card doesn't make it cute, you absolute brainlet dipshit. Holy shit. You don't get it. Hatsune Miku is cute, okay? I love Hatsune Miku because she's cute. You don't understand. You don't get it. You're stupid. You're stupid. Yeah. They are. Magic the Gathering fans are scared of cute girls doing cute things. They're scared of anime. They're scared of women. They're scared of fun. They're scared of joy. They're afraid of interacting with another human being. I hate it. I hate it. I hate Magic the Gathering.
It's something that really surprised me because Magic the Gathering and anime are both very nerdy pastimes.
Yeah, they're cheap.
And usually you get a lot of overlap in terms of nerdy circles, whether it be some, you know, like Star Trek fans and anime fans or what have you. And I didn't realize until I got into VTubing just how little that Venn diagram of anime fans and Magic the Gathering fans overlaps, at least as it goes on Twitch, because obviously I'm a fan of both, and I know several others who are fans of both, but for whatever reason, at the very least when it comes to Twitch viewership, you are right that a lot of the Magic the Gathering viewing community just doesn't like anime or doesn't like VTubing aesthetically or one reason or another, because I was really confident. I was thinking, especially when Arena hit its stride, and especially when they had the new Kamigawa, that for folks who don't know Magic the Gathering, they literally have a Japanese-inspired plane that had anime alternate art cards in early 2022, if memory serves. I think it was about when it came out. So, like, prime time with VTubing. And this was a little bit after Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel came out. And I was saying, all right, Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel came out and got picked up by a whole bunch of VTubers. And now we have Magic the Gathering coming out with their perfectly aligned set. We're probably going to see a whole bunch of folks try out Magic the Gathering. And boy, was I wrong.
It's because it's ugly. It's because Magic the Gathering is ugly. And Magic the Gathering fans have open disdain for VTubers, and when you break out of the VTubing sphere, lots of people have open hatred for VTubers. Lots of face streamers hate VTubers. They think that VTubers are view botting. They think that VTubers are cheating somehow. They think that
we're
VTubers are
less of that than we used to, but you are not wrong that is absolutely a thing, and especially rewinding the clocks like 2020, that was a real issue.
It still happens in gaming communities.
I'm certain it still happens.
110%. Every single time I have had a YouTube short or anything that was gamer community focused as opposed to being VTuber community focused, all of the comments are just the like to dislike ratio is like 60% likes, 40% dislikes, which is fucking insane. That is a fucking insanely bad like to dislike ratio. And all the comments are shit like, oh, this is so cringe. Oh, she's probably using a VTuber avatar because she's fat and ugly in real life. Oh, this is stupid. Oh, her voice is so annoying. She sounds like a man. Is she a man? This is so cringe. I can't believe that someone would make content like this. This is so embarrassing type shit. So
you're not wrong that there is still absolutely that stigma, and that while like I said, I think it's better than it was in 2020, that doesn't necessarily mean it's good yet. That it's something that I am optimistic we will see improve continuously over time. That said, how long will it take for that improvement to reach actually a good place?
Who knows?
I cannot say.
And that's honestly, I think that's something that's really difficult because I don't really consider myself to be somebody who makes content that is very in line with traditional VTuber content, because traditional VTuber content is heavily rooted in Japanese idol culture, and I basically participate in none of that. I don't really do any Japanese idol culture stuff. I don't really do things like a traditional VTuber. The way I look at my streams, it's more like a regular gaming stream, but just so happens to be a VTuber instead of like a face cam streamer.
Yeah,
right?
And in theory, doing things like that should conceptually make you actually more accessible to a broader audience. But you are not wrong that, at least as things stand, that to a good chunk of folks, that since VTubing comes with a certain stigma, that it then closes off some of that viewership that you would then otherwise be opening yourself up to, while also not tailoring to the more common demographics or interests of the VTubing community, and in doing so, doing what actually makes your brand conceptually more broad, narrows it.
Yes, in some ways, yeah. It's the hardest demographic to make content for is gamers. 110%. Who would have ever foreseen that a demographic full of people that are used to instant gratification and getting everything that they want would be entitled and unreasonable? Who could have ever foreseen something like that? Who could have ever foreseen this sort of thing? And I know that Frederick Knudsen, I talked to him about this, and he said the same thing. He's like, yeah, gamers are the hardest people to make content for. He said he was talking on stream about, he just said, gamers are the hardest people to make content for. And then immediately someone commented and said, oh yeah, you've probably been watching too much Jim Sterling. And it's like, wow, way to prove my fucking point. God, gamers are embarrassing, which is why I always regretfully say that I'm a gamer.
It is a interesting line that folks dance, and just it's like I said, it's part of what makes all of this really cool and neat and different, because also just gamers pioneered streaming, which is now becoming such a mainstream type of content creation and entertainment form as a whole, that even my parents now understand what streaming is.
Yeah. It's nice to also be a female streamer in a community that doesn't treat women like shit, which is nice. Because, like, look at the top face cam streamers. Look at the top female face cam streamers and tell me that people don't treat them like complete and utter garbage.
Yeah, it's a complex one there, and, you know, obviously I'm glad that they have success and that they are able to, they are able to continue going despite the folks that can potentially make that a very unfun place to be.
It's just because, like, that was, like, my biggest fear getting into content creation and streaming in general was, that the fear of how are people gonna treat me, because, like, you know, growing up and being a gamer and playing video games, you know, playing League of Legends and stuff, like older stuff, League of Legends, World of Warcraft, like Final Fantasy 11, Final Fantasy 14. Final Fantasy 11 and Final Fantasy 14 were never that bad, but World of Warcraft and League of Legends and other competitive games, and later on, like Apex Legends and Overwatch, when they started introducing voice chat, things were really fucking bad. Things were obviously really bad. Like, people would just be terrible, and if they ever found out that you were a girl, they would that's the classic response. They ever found out that you were a woman, they would say, oh, well, you're probably just fat and ugly in real life anyway. And it's like, first of all, go fuck yourself. Second of all, why is it that you think it's so funny that that a person would think that like, oh yeah, the ultimate burn for a woman. Everybody knows that the only thing that matters to women is their physical appearance, because that's the only thing that matters. That's the only thing that they're here for, is to be aesthetically pleasing. So I'm just gonna completely fucking own this bitch and say, yeah, you're just fat and ugly, you stupid bitch. Haha. Right? And it's like, it's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing that people act like that. People acted like that, and people still act like that. To the point where I, literally every single time that I start playing a new game, like Dark Tide is the latest thing that this happened. Every time I start playing a new game, if it automatically has voice chat on and I hear somebody talking, I get like a wave of anxiety that washes over me. I'm convinced that someone is going to tell me to kill myself, or threaten to sexually assault me, or worse, right? Over that voice chat, and I have to turn it off instantly. And I've definitely had people who I've talked about this with, and they said, yeah, well, as a guy, when you're playing games, you get sexual assault threats and death threats all the time too. And number one, the context is different, okay? Completely different context. Number two, that's bad. Okay, yeah. You shouldn't be saying, oh, well, guys get threatened to get killed and sexually assaulted when they play games all the time, so get over it, princess. Maybe we should be trying
Maybe we should just hope that, maybe we should just not have this problem for anyone?
Hold gamers to a little bit of a higher standard.
Because this goes as far back, classic Xbox Live voice chat on, Halo or what have you.
Yeah.
Yes, they are right. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're a guy, girl, somewhere in between, or none of the above, that you're going to get hateful shit in voice chats. But anyone who says that guys have it at any level near what girls deal with don't know what the hell they're talking about.
And I mean, I also feel like, because, like, this has been something that I've encountered a lot in my life, talking, because, like, I don't really talk about it that much on stream, I don't think, but like when I have talked to people, like in just regular social interactions, about like, oh yeah, it's so hard, it sucks being a female gamer, it sucks being a woman who is into hobbies that are traditionally male dominated for this reason and this reason and this reason.
Glances over at Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, right. Their response is always like shit, like, yeah, well, men have it hard too. Yeah, well, I have it difficult too. And it's like, yeah, I 110%. It's not easy to be a man. It's not easy.
It's not easy to be human. It doesn't matter.
It's not easy to be human, and there are unique struggles to being a man or a woman, or biologically male, biologically female, gender identity, non-binary. There are unique struggles to all of those things, but to invalidate somebody else's reality and their feelings because like what, like you're insecure, you feel like you're not being validated. I don't see how you could validate yourself by invalidating somebody else's reality.
That is literally speedrun asshole to any percent. Just why would you do that? And
yeah,
I can fully sympathize and understand that. Perhaps fortunately, very few of the games that I play in my casual time have a voice chat option anyway, and that's something that I kind of look at and say, ooh, I'm just glad that I don't have to worry about that option anyway, because I know, like I said, regardless. But yes, you're very right that as a girl, you're gonna have it way worse. And
it's gotten to the point where I literally don't even play cooperative or competitive online games in my off time anymore, because I just don't want to deal with that. I don't want to have to deal with even the thought of having to deal with toxic people, whether it's toxic people because I'm a woman, or toxic people who are just toxic to everybody because they're playing an online competitive game. That's why I don't play League of Legends anymore. It's why I don't play Valorant.
It's sad that what is supposed to be a feature is now a hindrance. Because the concept at play is, oh, we should give our players voice chat. That way they can coordinate it, and, that it will create a better, strategy experience. And yes, you are correct, developers. In concept, that is actually an improvement. It is not so in reality.
So it's like, that's like I would say probably the biggest step that I ever made towards managing my own mental health and being a happier person, is just making the decision to not do things that make me unhappy, right? Like making the decision to be like, oh, I'm playing this game of League of Legends and I'm having a miserable time because people are being mean to me. I'm not going to play anymore. I'm playing Valorant. Not someone was mean to me, I'm not gonna play this anymore. I was playing Overwatch, people were mad at me and mean to me, and I have this horrible sense of anxiety every single time that I play, that my performance isn't gonna be good enough. Like, I make one mistake in a game and I'm waiting for the death threats, right? It's like, well, okay, I'm just not gonna put myself in that environment anymore. I'm gonna put myself, that's what VTubing has been for me, where it's like, there were people that I would talk to before I became a VTuber, but after I became a VTuber, I made the decision to put myself in an environment where I surround myself with people who actually care about me and actually like me and actually want to see me be happy and successful and, thrive and all of that stuff. And I realized I don't owe anything to these people who treated me like shit just because I've known them for a long time. I don't owe my time to anybody who makes me feel bad. I don't owe my time or myself or anything to anybody who doesn't make me feel like my best self. So
hell yeah.
It's a pretty big lesson that I've learned from being a VTuber and have taken into my life that has made me feel just a lot happier in general.
Yeah, that obviously not a one-to-one experience here, but just anxiety is something that I dealt with a lot when I was younger, and that it took a long time for me to figure out the right ways for me to approach my own anxiety in everyday life and just different things. And I think you really hit the nail on the head when you said of just finding and recognizing situations and environments that make you anxious or uncomfortable and removing yourself from them, or just not entering those environments in the first place, and recognizing, all right, let's just not turn on voice chat. Let's turn it off and make it so we can't hear it and that we're not going to be participating in it, or just whether it be communities or anything like that. And like I said, then also finding, all right, where are these communities, where are these environments where I am having fun and where I can be myself and where I can just relax. And whether that be curating your social media feed, like I aggressively use the block words feature. I don't block people, I block words. I block basically anything related to politics. If there's a current event going on, I'm just gonna go into the settings, block this word, block that word, a couple variations.
Block the word Hogwarts.
Bingo. Just like
multiple
variations. Just the amount of
wizard,
freedom,
Hogwarts, all out of here.
The amount of just mental freedom and relaxation of that stuff not even being in my feed anymore, because you don't even mentally process the stuff that you're not seeing. And it is such a difference that that and the other big thing that I say is get an extension for your browser that removes the trending sidebar on Twitter.
Yes. I
am able to scroll on Twitter and it's never doom scrolling, because I'm just seeing, like, what are the updates? What's the fun things? What's the meme of the week or whatever? And if I see, all right, this is now a new big thing or flare up, target acquired, go to the settings, mute, block, and that I don't even need to worry about blocking individuals or people I follow, because, hey, if they want to tweet about the thing, that's fine. I just make it so I'm not seeing those tweets. And that, frankly, removing the trending sidebar, again, one of the best decisions I've ever made, because that's the other part that you can't account for in your own feed. So just, I know that there's one for Chrome, that there's one for Microsoft Edge. I'm sure there's stuff for Firefox, that you can get a way to just make it so that the sidebar of your Twitter is blank, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's fucking sucks living in the digital age where corporations benefit off of manufactured outrage, because if you're angry and involved in something that makes you angry on twitter.com, it means that you're more likely to scroll and see more ads for Progressive Insurance.
I graduated from business school, and one of the big things that I had to take multiple classes on was data analytics and surveys. And in data, in surveys, anything that is voluntary response, and you can see it in everything from Google reviews to product reviews on Amazon, that negative is always going to be something that people are much more likely to respond to if it is a voluntary form. That if everyone who purchases a product is required somehow to give a review, that you're going to see a much higher rate of 5 stars, versus if it's just voluntary, that you're going to see a lot more of the 1 stars and the complaints, because that's just how we are hardwired. That is normal human emotional response, and that is fine. That's not to say that if you find yourself doing that it is wrong. But I will say that as someone who is just scrolling through social media and wants to be able to have a nice day and be able to use it for the intended purposes and not have the very real mental side effects that can affect folks, the term doom scrolling has appeared for a reason, and I just always try to make it so I can scroll through social media and never have it be doom scrolling. It is a learned art, but it's something that I feel I've gotten pretty good at over the years, and I'm very proud of that for myself, at least.
Yeah, I just choose to not engage with negativity, because it's so pointless. I just don't have the like, I've already got enough stress and anxiety and everything in my life going on. I don't need to spend my very limited free time arguing with strangers or being angry about random things that I have no control over, you know?
And that doesn't mean you need to be going around being even potentially toxic positive either, that there is the balance.
Yeah. Toxic positivity is the most cringe thing ever. Oh my god. Hey guys, I know that that's something that I would say I'm one of the most proud things of my community and my streaming in general, is because I feel like I try to be positive and optimistic, but I'm also not gonna bullshit you. I'm also not gonna be like, don't worry guys, everything's gonna be okay. Everything in the world is falling apart and everyone's mad, and corporations are fucking us every single day, and the government doesn't care about whether we live or die, and we're just cattle being herded. But don't worry guys, if we just pull together, then we'll be able to get through it, guys. I'm not gonna bullshit you and feed you a bunch of garbage like that. But I also am like, hey guys, maybe things can be a little better if we just change our perspective and try and make small decisions that maybe help you become a more happy self-actualized person. Because if you're a more happy self-actualized person, then you can start making decisions that will make you feel more fulfilled, and you'll be able to do things that make a broader impact on life. Ta-da! Yeah. Because I can't stand people that are toxically positive. It's so annoying. And like going into some people's streams, and then everyone's just like, you're doing so great, sweetie. Oh my god, you're so great. Oh my god, I hate one of the things that I hate. This is like very sort of endemic of like Tumblr.com. Tumblr is like a positivity spiral where everyone all the time is just like, everyone has like this shit that they agree on, and they're all like, oh my god, bestie, I love you so much. Oh my god, bestie, you're so sweet, I love you. Oh my god, you're so perfect, queen. Yes, just keep doing you. Yes, bitch, you're so fucking brave and intelligent and all this other shit.
I feel like it makes sense that Tumblr wound up that way, because it was very much
it's full of mentally unwell women.
I was going to say that it was more so built around fandoms, and that you usually end up with that spiral on fandoms, but I also won't say that you're wrong on the other parts as well.
Yeah, I mean, it happens in the VTubing community a lot too. But I'm going to give you a hot tip, and that's that if there's a VTuber who outwardly on Twitter or like whatever is like, you can always come talk to me, bestie. Oh my god, you're so valid, you're so sweet. Oh my god, queen, you're doing so well. They will stab you in the back. They will kill you. They will fucking tear the heart out of your chest and take a bite while it's still beating. They do not care. They do not like you. Anyone who outwardly advertises themselves as, I'm your best friend, you can talk to me, you can tell me your deepest, darkest secrets, is probably got, like, some other kind of motivating factor.
If you're saying to your friends, the folks that you know and have spent significant time with, hey, friends, and you're not posting this on social media, but, if in your friend groups, if in your, 10, 20 person group chat or Discord server, it's like, hey, I know we're all going through right now. If anyone needs someone to talk to, like, that's okay. That's good. Like, if you're doing that with your friends, the folks you know, that's fine. If it's
of course,
someone posting out on social media to their thousands upon thousands of followers saying, hey, anybody ever having a bad time, you can contact me. That's when I say you are either not knowing what you are getting yourself into, not qualified to help the people who are probably going to reach out to you, or, like you said, potentially ulterior motives.
Yeah, actively malicious. In some cases. I don't know.
Yeah, the only folks who should be broadcasting and outwardly advertising to the general public of, hey, if you need help, come talk to me, are licensed psychologists.
Yeah, exactly. Because, like, it helps to, fucking have a friend to lend an ear or whatever, but, like, it's just annoying. I'm just glad that I no longer have to be around people that are like that anymore in my day-to-day life, because I've actually got people in support systems that I can trust.
Mm-hmm.
Big titty licensed psychologist VTuber.
Haven't had that type of VTuber yet.
My if you want me to be your psychologist, your therapist on VTuber Twitter stream, my rates are $500 an hour, and you have to pay in advance. So even if you only talk to me for 2 minutes, I still get $500.
Yep.
So please look forward to that. You already paid that? Well, okay, but that's for the 1 hour, Patty.
That's for the session.
The hour has passed. I said the hour has passed. It's out. It's out of here. You've already used your hour, my friend. I'm sorry. And it's not per diem. You can't pay $5 and say, okay, I get 10 seconds. I'll just be sad. If you're sad, you should go to a licensed therapist, not a Twitch streamer. I recommend pursuing good mental health practices.
Joke's on you, Munchmeister. I already got therapy.
It's not that I want to let you know. It's not that I won't help you. It's that I can't help you. I can't do it. I cannot help you. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't fix you. I can't help you with this. You need to get a licensed professional to help you. I gave you the Akasupa. Please fix me.
It is unfortunate how many people think that is how it works.
It's weird that people think like that. Who will fix me? The only person who can fix you is yourself, Oofy. I've already helped you. Well, yeah, of course your favorite streamers can help you by providing an environment where you're happy and having a good time, but also they can't make your depression go away. Yeah. They can't make your mental illness go away. They can't make the things in your life that are causing you grief and strife and anxiety go away.
Yeah. And it's knowing that difference, that just if you're having a bad day and you know that a streamer who you love and can make you smile is streaming, and that's going to brighten your day, hell yeah, tune in. That is healthy.
Yeah, of course.
That is great. Just understand the limitations therein.
Yeah. Just understand that I'm not a licensed therapist, and you probably shouldn't expect me to be able to fix you, because I can't.
Yeah. But, that is...
Yeah, VTuber Zoloft merch. I'm going to start selling you guys bootleg prescriptions for Xanax.
Yeah, whatever the overly long actual drug name is and not the brand name.
Yeah.
But
when I see my Oshi's alive, I stop crying in my corner.
It's like, we...
That's so funny, just the idea of, like, whenever your favorite streamer isn't live, you're just sitting in a corner crying somewhere. And then they're like, "Ooh, oh boy, can't wait." Ooh,
I've seen the memes
Barker
of
just went live. Yay!
like person in the corner of life is meaningless. I can't go on. Ooh, so and so is live, and that it's meant as a joke. And I've said in the past, I think that a non-zero part of the rise of VTubing is, one, the fact that obviously in 2020 and 2021, people couldn't go outside, couldn't socialize, so just being online in general was the substitute for socialization. But I think that what made perhaps an unconscious difference for VTubers versus face cam streamers is that VTubers were in different fantastic settings, whereas when you watched a face cam streamer, they were stuck in their room just like you. And that seeing somebody else, in a room inside, versus you can watch somebody who's on the moon in a field, and that it's colorful and it's different.
You could do that. You could put a green screen up. You could be in the game as a face streamer. You could say, "Hey guys, I'm under the water. Please help me."
That's fair. I guess I just don't. I didn't really see that a lot, and that it felt like
the reason why VTubers are popular is because big-breasted anime women should be running the world.
Well, keep in mind, I said part of the reason.
Oh yeah, you're right.
You're very right. That is another part of the reason.
Big-breasted anime women are the only thing that matters.
It is a very non-zero factor.
It's awesome. It's hardcore. Beautiful anime women deserve everything in the world.
Like Lily's, I got into VTubers extremely because I don't want to make eye contact. That's fair.
Yeah, it's true. That's a big thing. I also don't like making eye contact.
It really is fascinating how I'm sure that VTubing, even without the pandemic, would have become a thing and that it would have been successful. But it is undeniable that VTubing was in the right place at the right time, and that the environment very much lent itself to VTubing exploding as fast as it did.
For sure.
It's just, there's never a good time for a pandemic, and there never will be, but at the same time, there has never been a better time for a pandemic because, if you rewind the clocks even 15, 20 years, the internet being what it was back then, just the interconnectivity, forget VTubing, forget streaming, of just being able to talk with people, of everything from normal video chats, the reliability of instant messengers, of video sharing and things like that, that I can't imagine having to go through 2020 to 2022, basically. If this had been 15, 20 years ago, it would have been exponentially more difficult.
For sure.
And that, for as
like, imagine if we were in the fucking COVID pandemic and all we had to tide us over was Channel Awesome. Could you imagine that? The only thing you had to look for. Oh boy, the Nostalgia Critic uploaded a new video today, guys. Good. Too bad I can't leave my house. Oh boy, Spoonie uploaded the latest part of his Final Fantasy VIII review.
Well, if that had happened, we would have seen YouTubing and that type of video uploading explode in the way that we did. But, there's so much that we had access to.
The Nostalgia Critic will fix me. Surely the Nostalgia Critic will be the one to do it.
Also,
Doug
the B
Walker.
The B Finesse V2 and Arm Saws. Thank you for the follow. Arm Saws, that's a fun one.
Doug Walker. Well. Doug, I watched the blip.tv ad. Please fix me. Because that's what they would do. YouTube couldn't even upload 10-minute videos back then, so they would have to...
Part 1, Part 2, Part 3.
So they would have to upload all of their videos to blip.tv, and that's why they had their own website. They had their own damn website. Dude, is it still up? I know that Spoonie's website is still up, but it's kind of like a ghost town.
I am not sure. Let's see.
Doug is my Oshi now? Okay, that's fair.
I am kind of surprised that we haven't seen the Nostalgia Critic VTuber. Because we've seen a number of.
What do you mean?
Wait, did I miss something?
There's a Nostalgia Critic Live 2D model that anybody can use.
Okay, that's different from like Is Dog Walker VTubing?
No, he doesn't know how to use a camera. He doesn't know how to use a handheld, anything besides a fucking handheld Sony camcorder, and even then he doesn't know how to use it because he doesn't understand white balance, so all of the white shots look blue.
It's been so long that I don't even remember that, but you're
I know an
right.
ungodly amount about the Nostalgia Critic, so the reason why is because he doesn't understand.
So I guess the question now is, were you a big fan of the Nostalgia Critic, or did you end up seeing
No,
the
I
content
was.
sort of secondhand?
I was a huge Nostalgia Critic fan when I was younger. I watched the Nostalgia Critic. I've seen almost every single Nostalgia Critic video before a certain point.
Wow. 'Cause I saw a couple videos, a couple reviews here and there. Didn't actively follow, but I certainly am familiar with the Nostalgia Critic.
Yeah. So I've seen like every Nostalgia Critic video before a certain point. I've seen every Spoonie video before a certain point. I've seen every Linkara video before a certain point. And I've seen every Phalus video before a certain point.
Cool.
They were like my Oshis. They were my inspiration. Okay. Them and also like early Let's Player YouTubers like Chugga Conroy and Luca Jin and Proton John, etc.
And it has been interesting to see the migration because Lucajin is now a VTuber.
Is a VTuber now, and she's streaming right now, in fact.
Hey!
Lucajin sure is a VTuber. It's true. And it makes me happy. Lime Malicious from Vinesauce is also a VTuber now, too.
Ooh, nice. I know.
I mean, it just makes sense, because like there's a lot of like people who wanted to stream but didn't want to do face cam, but like didn't want to have nothing. So it's like, I'll do a VTuber avatar instead.
Yeah. But for me, and I'm going to sort of out myself as a certain type of nerd here, I watched a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series back in the day.
Yeah.
And
Little Karibo.
Little Karibo is now a VTuber.
Oh, they're VTubing too?
Yeah, no, they
I know that they've watched some of my VTubing friends, but I didn't know they were a VTuber themselves.
Yeah, that he actually has a purple Karibo model.
Nice.
And it's very cute, has a little hat and a jacket.
And obviously, Tanhata 101 is a VTuber as well.
Yeah, definitely one of the more prominent examples of a different type of content creator, and more specifically an abridged series creator becoming a VTuber. He's even going through his old DBZA stuff and actually doing active commentary nowadays, which is cool to just... Yeah. And it's fun to see these folks that we may have followed when we were younger, or that may have been inspirations to us, or even if not inspirations, just that you are familiar with them, and to see them adapt and grow and say, hey, I'm going to try this VTubing thing, because sometimes people just sort of fade. Sometimes people keep up with what they're doing in their own way. That it's sort of a treat of being able to see someone try something new, and not only try it, but experience success.
For sure. It's very exciting. It's very cool to see all of the people that, we've known for such a long time. Like, again, like Nianners and Iron Mouse and Zentreya, I know, is a VR chat streamer.
Chari mentions Amelie.
Yeah.
Also, is it Carrie Cherry or Carrie Chari? I'm just sort of guessing Carrie Cherry because I'm making the base assumption of rhyming schemes, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, it's true. VTubing is like fucking crazy, man. There's like so many guys who do things. It's crazy. You can just go talk to someone who's like, hey, I'm the Vaporwave song that everybody knows, the one with like the weird head and like the crazy pink and black background that literally everybody has ever heard, the Macintosh 1989. I'm a VTuber now also, by the way. Do you know that? That person's a VTuber. The person who made the Kirby retrospective lore video is a VTuber now.
Wait, what?
Yeah. The RPG monger is a VTuber.
Huh.
Botanic Sage, which is the person who made like a lot of really good Nintendo hip hop mashup edit videos, is also a VTuber now.
That's one of the things of. I know that I never need to worry about running out of VTubers to talk to because even though it is still a niche,
there's many VTubers
sure,
as so there are stars in the sky.
Yeah, and just that this is actually episode 97 of VTuber Talk that I'm quickly coming up on episode 100, and I don't know what the hell I expected when I started this, but it's been a ride, and it's sort of comforting, I suppose, knowing, all right, I don't need to worry about running out, that VTubing isn't going anywhere. This isn't, for it being niche, it's not small.
Yeah. It's not a flash in the pan.
Certainly not. I think that was really the question, I think, up until mid-2020. Or sorry, mid-2021. And then afterwards, it's been very clear now that this isn't going anywhere, and it's more a question of not if it will become mainstream, but how quickly will it become mainstream, and just like I was saying earlier about tech, where is it gonna go?
Yeah, for sure.
It's not a phase, Mom.
It wasn't just a fad niche. Yeah, it's here to stay. I never really got into any of that discourse because I just did it because it was fun.
Yeah. Do you have any specific hopes in terms of like whether it just be tech and, hey, I'd love to do this type of thing with my model, and I know I can't right now, but I hope that eventually someone will make a thing that'll let me do that?
VTubing technology has come so far in terms of this, but I would still like to, at some point with a live 2D model, be able to like get all of the intricacies and like gestures, and to make like movement, like arm tracking and full body tracking, more mainstream and accessible to people. I think would be a lot of fun. But you can do a lot of that stuff with 3D models. So, but I prefer live 2D.
Yeah, so you want 3D level tracking on live 2D models.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Some sort of like 2.5D type situation.
Yeah, as someone who doesn't know technology, at least that type of technology, it has kind of surprised me, because I guess just sort of mentally I think, all right, if you can do it in 3D, why not 2? I'm sure there's some more complex thing that it makes a very logical explanation for why. But I think that is a very logical thing that we're probably going to see in the coming years.
For sure. For sure. I want another big crypto bubble so that crypto bros will come into the VTubing community and start giving people lots of money again. Please, God, I'm praying to you, Jesus and God and on high. Come on, I need this. Give me, I want Elon Musk to watch Hinamori and give me $1 billion is what I want for the future.
Invest in Hina coin.
Yeah, baby! Woo!
To the moon!
To the moon. But in all seriousness, I know that money won't make me happy. So I guess that I want to continue to be happy and emotionally fulfilled and be able to share many laughs and jokes and good times with my chat in the VTubing community.
Taking a bit of a left turn here, outside of streaming, I know that one thing that you do enjoy doing in your free time, at least a bit, is cooking.
Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna make dinner tonight. I was going to make dinner tonight. But
I may have gotten in the way of that.
Yeah, I haven't been able to. I'll probably just make a late one. But yeah, I was gonna make some soy honey garlic chicken thighs and rice and vegetables.
Do you have any
really good right about
favorite dishes or favorite styles of dishes?
I make a lot of Japanese food because my roommate is gluten-free, and a lot of Japanese food has gluten in it because a lot of it has soy sauce in it. So if I use gluten-free soy sauce, then she can eat it. So it's pretty easy and tasty, and so I end up making it a lot, and it's good. It's fun. I like baking too. Right now we're trying to sort the kitchen out because we have about half the cabinet space at our current place than we did at our last one, and we're bringing basically twice as much stuff because it's all of my old roommate, my first roommate and I stuff, and our new roommate's stuff together. So trying to fit that together is quite the challenge, but
oh boy,
we're trying to get through it. Yeah.
When it comes to baking, what do you like to make?
Basically anything. I like to make pies, I like to make cheesecakes, I like to bake cakes and cupcakes and creme brulee.
Ooh, that all sounds very good.
Yeah.
What is your favorite type of pie and cake to eat? That, doesn't matter if you've made it or if you're buying it or getting it at a restaurant.
I like apple pie, and I like basically any big warm chocolate cake with vanilla ice cream is my favorite.
Ooh, I appreciate the distinction of warm chocolate cake.
It has to be. Like a molten lava cake with vanilla ice cream.
Oh, that's the stuff. Just that
it's good.
That when it's hot and that it's not quite cooked all the way through and that it's actually still gooey on the inside.
It's good.
Yeah. Dang it, this is a terrible idea. Now I'm hungry.
Yeah, I know. I've been eating all day.
Oh, geez. Well, in that case, I don't want to keep you too much longer if you're, getting hungry. Because you did mention that you woke up pretty late, just of how your schedule works.
Yeah.
So, I guess, are there any things in terms of streaming in your own content that, whether it be, I guess, games that you want to play that you're particularly looking forward to?
I'm excited to finish Blasphemous. I've been having a really good time with that. It's like a Metroidvania high difficulty video game thing, which has been a lot of fun. It's cool because it's very similar to a lot of the games that I've streamed and enjoyed and had a good time, but it's also new, and it's in a genre of game that I really like, but I feel like is really underrepresented. I want to do more crowd control stuff in the future. I want to start doing randomizers at some point for certain games. Like I want to do a Dark Souls randomizer, Dark Souls 2 item and enemy randomizer, an Elden Ring enemy and item randomizer. And I want to do a co-op Elden Ring run with my roommate because she's never played a Souls-like games before, and I feel like that would be a lot of fun.
The last reward that I still need to pay off, sorry, not the last stream reward I need to pay off for my 2nd anniversary charity marathon is that I'm going to be doing an Elden Ring stream. And I say this as someone who has not played a Souls-like game since Dark Souls 1, and I played exactly 1 session of it at a friend's house, and I was terrible at it. So this is probably going to be a pretty painful stream, but the kind folks in chat donated a lot of money to Child's Play charity, so I will happily suffer for a couple of hours, and that's probably going to end up happening either this month or next month, depending on how schedule works out. But I've already done the Room readings, read the script for the Room, did an ASMR stream, and that was the other reward stream for the charity marathon that I have to do. So sometime soon I will be, for all intents and purposes, playing my first Souls-like game ever. That I don't really even count that 1 session at a friend's house, so it will be interesting.
Yeah, Elden Ring is probably one of the best places to get in because there's just so many different things that you can do. It's pretty intimidating at first, for sure. Even as someone who's like a veteran of the Souls-like franchise, it was one of the most intimidating games I've ever played. But it's also it's very fun and very cool and very exciting to explore and find different things and find different weapons, and I'm sure that you'll have a good time.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it'll be the type of thing where I just legitimately enjoy it enough that I start to continue playing it off stream.
Yeah, for sure.
hopping to Magic again for just a moment. I know the way you enjoy Magic is Commander.
Yeah.
What is your style as a Commander player, and do you have any favorite decks? That I don't actually play any Commander myself. I have a lot of friends who do, so I have the full awareness of, you know, Commander and the vast majority of common commanders. So what's your style of play?
I play Group Hug and I play Stacks. I play Azorius because I like to control the board. And I'm becoming the Joker. I originally have a Group Hug deck because I wanted to be nice to people, and I'm very slowly realizing that people don't deserve my kindness. So instead of making it a nice deck, I'm going to make it a motherfucker's deck. I'm going to make it a deck where they think that I'm their friend, but I'm not actually their friend, because nobody deserves for me to be their friend if they're going to treat me like garbage. And by that, I mean I hate people who play Izzet. So if you play Izzet at my table, I'm probably going to be the one targeting you. Rip Bozo, nothing personal. Just pick better colors in the future. Thank you.
For those who didn't understand the jargon, basically what she says is she likes to play decks where, or at least she liked to play decks where it would give everybody positive effects. That's what a group hug deck is. So it's everybody draw a card, everybody gains some life. Izzet is blue-red. That's usually going to be a spells-based deck. So something that isn't running a lot of creatures, so they're going to be either doing a lot of counter magic, saying you don't get to do your spell, or I'm destroying the monster that you just played, or doing crazy stuff that messes with the board. And the reason that I play limited Magic is because I never have to play against hard control.
Yeah.
That I played one constructed tournament once, borrowing a friend's deck, played against a control deck, and said, okay, yeah, that is exactly as unfun as I thought it would be, and that is exactly why I'm not playing constructed.
Yeah, it's true. It's like I went the first time that you're playing a Magic game, and in Commander it's 4 players. The first time you play a Commander game and you encounter a player who just counters and completely shuts down your win condition, despite the fact that they themselves know that they can't win, but they just target you because fuck you, is when you become the Joker. And I'm ready to become the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
My Jokerification arc has begun.
The few times that I have tried playing Commander again, borrowing friends' decks, the most vivid memory I have of any Commander game, the reason why I probably will never play Commander again, somebody at this, it was a local game store, which, in all fairness, that's my and my friends' fault for going to a local game store and not playing just with a group of everyone that we knew.
Mm-hmm.
This deck that they had, it was this red deck, and they had a couple of enchantments. I think one of them was called Scrambleverse, if memory serves. But the bottom line is, the way it worked is every time somebody cast a spell, that spell wouldn't actually happen. Instead, you would flip cards off the top of your deck until you had a spell of the same type, and that type of spell was played instead. So
that's hilarious.
And it's fun and random, but it gets quickly out of control, and it means that you can't actually progress in the game.
No,
that you just get stuck. If you're trying to use a removal spell, it's going to be the next instant or sorcery, which may or may not actually do what you're trying to do. So after about 45 minutes of no real progress being made, it wasn't even that you couldn't resolve spells, it was just that you couldn't advance a game.
You don't get to pick what you do.
Yeah, that it all just became everyone hoping and looking for anything they could do to get rid of this damn enchantment. And then there was like this other one where I think it was Warp World, that they took all the permanents on the field and shuffled them into the deck, and that they replayed everything, so every bit of advancement that had been made was now undone. And it was similar to, like, it's not a control deck in the sense of you can't play stuff, it's just you don't get to do what you are trying to do. And it was just mind-boggling, and basically everybody at the table except this one person who wasn't advancing their own game state was not happy.
Yeah.
Like, that's a special type of, why would you do this?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different types of, when you have a game like Magic the Gathering, there's a lot of different types of baffling things that you can encounter.
Like, I can respect the concept,
yeah,
but not the implementation.
I guess everybody has fun in their own way. But, yeah, that's just the nature of doing social things with other people, I guess.
Yeah.
That some people are going to have fun by ruining your fun, and I'm one of those people, so I don't really have any room to talk, but, you know.
Well, at least you're up front of, hey, if you're going to be playing Commander with me, I'm going to be the Joker. At least you admit it.
Yeah. I'm going to say, if you play Commander with me and you are mean to me, I will kill you. I'll kill you. I'll kill you in real life. I'll fucking follow you to your car and I'll slash your tires.
With the trading cards.
In Minecraft, yeah.
In Minecraft, yes. In Roblox.
Yeah.
Also, Jazzahole, thank you for the follow. Missed that a while back. Sorry about that.
I think having one Joker player in the Commander pool is important. Yeah, I'm the Joker. I hate people that make super competitive decks and take it too seriously, so I'm gonna make a super competitive deck and just fucking screw with them.
I would rather play against that red, awful Warp World or Scrambleverse or whatever it was deck, as opposed to a hyper-optimized turn 2 win deck, which is like, okay, so we sat down and shuffled up and did all this.
It's the worst thing to ever happen.
Because it's like, all right, we're here to have a good time, and
God,
congrats,
it's embarrassing!
You comboed off.
Oh, wow,
Yay.
congrats. You got infinite mana and infinite turns on turn 2. I hope that you're very proud of yourself.
Yeah, now we need to spend time shuffling up again and redealing again and resolving mulligans again to try and play the game.
Yeah. I hate it. I hate it. I hate CEDH.
Yeah, again, I can respect the concept of CEDH and like the folks who brew it conceptually and saying, hey, if you do this, that you can do that. I think that's cool from a thought experiment standpoint, but not in practice.
Yeah, for sure. Real heads loop it until everyone is dead. Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, sorry. Magic Talks do get a little jargony, and like Hina was saying, that it's something that we do recognize that not a lot of the VTuber community knows. It's just I so rarely get to talk Magic with my guests. I have to get a little bit of it in when I have the chance.
Whenever I talk about it, everybody begs that I stop. They're like, please fucking stop. I hate this shit.
Well, that's
stupid.
why I do it here on my show, where it doesn't matter. So it's not hurting your stuff. Don't worry.
I don't care. What are they gonna do? Leave? I'll just fucking if you don't like when I talk about Magic the Gathering, leave, asshole. Whatever.
But yeah, the Commander is a very interesting thing, and Magic is a cool game, and it's not a perfect game, and
Is it though? Would you really say, was that really the word you would use to describe it?
At least I'll say I genuinely enjoy Draft when it comes to Magic.
Yeah, it's an interesting card game.
I think that's the best way to play Magic the Gathering, full stop.
Yeah. There will never be a VTuber Magic the Gathering tournament because Magic the Gathering players hate anime.
Nope. Maybe one time I will try and organize it just to like prove that it can be done. It wouldn't be a big thing. It wouldn't be a successful thing, and it would probably take a lot of time in searching to find enough folks.
I won't leave, and I will continue to complain. Nice. Fuck yeah.
Still, it's been nice to at least see, Yu-Gi-Oh! Become a thing, because I never really was into competitively or anything, but that has another sort of nice place in my heart from my childhood, so it's been cool seeing people enjoy that, even if I have no idea what the hell a Link monster does.
Yeah. It's whatever. I'm not too into Yu-Gi-Oh!
Are there any games that are tabletop that you wish had an online game or client?
Nah, man, I don't really play tabletop games.
That's fair. Goodness, we've been at this now for over 2 hours, and
for sure.
I know you haven't eaten yet, so I won't keep you too much longer. So I have just a couple last questions that I ask all my guests as we start to wrap up here. And the first is, do you have any goals for 2023 that we're just a bit into March now. By the way, happy Mario Day, everybody.
Happy Mario.
Do you have anything that you're hoping to accomplish, whether it be in terms of, a project, a new type of, content of, be it a cover, an album, a new model, anything at all that you're hoping to get done this year?
I want to start working on concepts for a new outfit, and I don't know if it'll be finished by the end of the year, but I want to try and release a cover, and I want to get more merchandise out there. I want to do merch through Vtoshi, so I'll be able to do like keychains and stickers, and be able to like send out custom handwritten notes and everything, and be able to customize it more, make it a little bit more personal.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I guess I just like to keep meeting and hanging out with and collaborating with fun and interesting people, meeting new people, hanging out with, same people who I find fun and interesting, enjoy spending time with, live my life, be happy and fulfilled sort of thing, Yeah. I guess I don't really have very lofty aspirations other than being able to afford rent and maybe some plastic imported from Japan every now and again,
Any specific plastic imported from Japan that you really enjoy?
Yeah, Nendoroids and Figmas. I want to get the Guts Nendoroid. It's really cute. It's not fitting at all for the franchise, but I think that the Gap Moe is nice. And I want to get the Foo Fighters Nendoroid too.
Foo Fighters have a Nendoroid? I mean, I guess.
Well, no, so from JoJo.
Oh,
there's a character.
Okay.
There's a character named Foo Fighters in JoJo's Bizarre
That
Adventure.
makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, the FF Nendo. It's cute. She's cute. She's got green hair.
Yes, this is a JoJo's reference.
If I could get a Nendoroid out of any of my outfits, it would be this one.
Yeah. I've seen people do 3D models of Nendoroid concepts. I'm kind of surprised that Nendoroid doesn't allow custom printing. I suppose that there would be a very high cost to it, just because, if you're going to be making the molds, and that's probably the prohibitive factor there. But yeah, that's sort of, I would guess, the pie in the sky dream of one day Hina Nendo.
You could just get a sculptor to make clay figures. There's going to be plushies soon, so look forward to that.
Marketable plushies, let's go!
Yay, plushies. I want the Dave Grohl Nendoroid. Yeah.
Or the Doug Walker Nendoroid?
Yeah, the Doug Walker Nendoroid. The Doug Walker Dakimakura.
Oh no.
It's real.
I'd like to say I'm surprised by that, but I'm not.
He did it for charity, I think.
Okay, that actually makes me like it a lot more.
Yeah.
That if you're doing crazy, silly, cringe things for charity, I will give you a lot of leeway.
Yeah, for sure. He also did cameos for charity as well.
Oh, hell yeah. And then the last question that I ask all my guests, it's what does being a VTuber mean to you? And that's not asking what is the definition of a VTuber, but as we've discussed, different people get different things from being a VTuber. And I suppose we have touched on this in several tangential ways. And some people have said being a VTuber lets me get in touch with my inner child, or lets me be someone I can't be in real life. Others have said I don't necessarily have a strong connection to my model, but it is a powerful tool in my toolbox as a content creator and as an entertainer, and I get to do things as a VTuber that I wouldn't get to do as a face streamer, and it's a mask that I wear, and I love wearing it. And whether it's one end of that spectrum or the other, between or whatever, there isn't a wrong way to VTube. So to you, Hina, what does being a VTuber mean to you?
It's everything to me. It's my entire life. It's the only place that I've ever really truly felt happy and fulfilled. It's all of my friends, all of the people in my life who are good to me and treat me well, and I don't feel like shit being around, are people that I met through VTubing. everything that is important to me in my life is in some way stemmed from VTubing. It's the only way that I really feel like I can genuinely be myself with people without fear of judgment, you know, being based on, like, you know, being a woman, or, you know, being too loud, or being too tall, or being too much this or too much that, right? It's the only place where I have ever actually felt like comfortable and like I don't need to change who I am for people to like me. So it's pretty important. I would say.
I always ask that at the end of shows because while I never know how someone will answer, the answers always make sense. And especially even given just a couple hours of chatting that, like I said, we discussed content creation and the mere concept, frankly, of being a VTuber a lot more than on my average show. And it was an absolute delight to do so. And that what you just said really does fit with everything that we've discussed tonight, of just that you're here to have a good time and that you're here to be yourself and to just, you know, have fun. And it's really cool that you have been able to find this in VTubing, and it is very clear that just, you know, from all the folks spamming the Hinabo love emotes in chat, and just anytime I get to tune into your streams, and just it is a wonderful vibe, wonderful community. And yeah, there's a bunch of trolls in there, but they're loving trolls. And
what do you mean? No one would ever troll me. Everyone's being 100% genuine in the Hina stream.
Yep.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
In all seriousness, though, you know, this has been an absolute delight. Thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show. That I know, like you said, usually you stream on Fridays, and I appreciate you being able to take time out, and especially it being such a busy time for you with your move. That I hope everything is going all right in terms of unpacking and just getting things situated, because I know it is a process.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just happy that I managed to get everything done so quickly. I'm just really tired now. I feel like I've missed out on like 3 days of sleep. I just want to fucking sleep for 4 days in a row, but I know I can't do that.
What is a sleep schedule anyway?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I stim my chat's autism.
I would never lie or deceive or gaslight Hina Bobina, said Lilac and Lily. Certainly not. No.
Never.
Well, as we wind down, do you have anyone you would like us to raid?
Yeah, can we raid... Hold on, I had a good one picked out. Let's raid Orange is Borange. They're a good friend. They're a very nice person.
Can you send me their username in Discord just so I don't misspell it?
Yeah. Here we go.
She gets all that prepped. Thank you, everyone in chat, for tuning in. Really appreciate you all stopping by. I'm Jay. This is VTuber Talk. If you enjoyed, then you can follow here on Twitch and on Twitter. I do these about once a week. It varies, like I mentioned earlier. I have no regular schedule, so just keep an eye out for things. But if you tuned in for the whole show or just a couple of minutes here at the end, thank you so much for stopping by. And thank you to Cogstopper, Fridge Draws, Spider-Man, and Lobo Lacanzia. I'm hoping I pronounced that right. Thank you all so much for the follows. So go on and queue up some Hina emotes. Let it... Orange is Borange. Let Orange is Borange know that Hina is the one that sent you all. And also thank you Asker VT and Protostash for the follows as well. So I'm going to get all this queued up. But again, Hina, thank you so much for stopping by. This has been an absolute blast. Go make yourself a very nice dinner.
Yeah. So, thank you for having me.
Say hi to Orange for us. Have a great rest of your evening. Have a great rest of your Mario Day. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you all next time.
Goodbye.